I thought I was born a failure. My grades wasn't exactly the best in primary school. I was constantly overshadowed by those around me, and whenever I'm the last person to be counted on for something, people would always assume the game is over. My presence in my friend circle was so minuscule that it seems like it wouldn't have made a single difference whether I was there or not. I would look at my friends that excel in whatever they are doing with envy. They have good grades, they are popular in school, they get all the girls, and my best friend ended up getting together with my crush. However you see it, all these things build up over time and made me into this shy and unconfident guy that has zero expectations of what the future holds. The me back then was like, if I'm a failure now, what difference would it make in the future? It's all going to end up the same anyways. I remember this one time in primary 3 or 4, which is when I'm around 10 years old if I'm not wrong. I was sitting on the rightmost end of the classroom, waiting for my math teacher to give out our exam results. She started off scolding the whole class right off the bat, berating us for not paying attention in class and getting wrong for questions that she has taught us multiple times during class. What she said and did next was one of the critical events that shaped my life's trajectory from then on. She sorted through the stack of exam papers and took out mine, shouting to the whole class to not end up being like me. She continued to say a bunch of stuff, but I could remember nothing at all because I was busy crying heavily in front of the whole class. I remember very clearly, even till this day, that while I was in the midst of crying, I was called stupid multiple times and called hopeless. From that moment on, I swore on everything I have. Not that I've anything at that age, but I promised to myself that I would make her eat her words. I studied so hard, fueled by the anger that I have towards her for embarrassing me in front of the whole class. I eventually graduated among the top few in my class and especially aced my math exam. I wasn't able to make her take back her words from that day. Heck, I couldn't even remember anything about her at all after that event. I was so fixated and obsessed with this goal of acing my math exam that I forgot about everything else. Many years later, as I look upon this event, I don't hate her at all. In fact, I'm very appreciative and thankful for her for giving me the wake-up call that I'm not a failure and I could do better if I tried. It was the event that got me on the right track, that shaped my general character that I could be more if I tried. But of course, life wasn't all smooth sailing from that point. Because of that event, things were turning out better than before. I became that guy that I used to envy. I was popular in secondary school, my grades were doing great. I graduated with a really good result that allowed me to attend any course of my choice in Polytechnic. I got a scholarship, people have high expectations of me, I was on a roll. I thought my life has been fixed and I'll always be on this trajectory of success all the way. I have plans to become a pilot upon graduating Polytechnic. I've passed certain prerequisite tests while in the midst of its application. However, one fateful day, due to an unfortunate accident, I broke my arm and got myself hospitalized. It was during a critical moment of my pilot application, but because of this injury, it essentially took out every one of my future plans. I was instantly kicked out of the program and deemed unsuitable to be a pilot due to this long-term injury. Imagine being up here in your life after many years of hard work, and in the span of just a couple of seconds, you're instantly kicked down to rock bottom. If average is here, I felt like I was here, even though in reality, I could be somewhere here because of all the previous hard work that I've put in to become the person that I was. To some people, it doesn't seem much of a setback because I'm still above average and there's nothing to be said over about. These type of people are exactly the type of people back in school that makes fun of the top student for crying over a B grade instead of getting the expected A grade. These type of people have absolutely zero idea of the amount of effort that's been put into by these top students to get what they get. I still remember clearly after receiving the news that I could no longer have the chance to pursue a career to be a pilot. I was away from home at that time and I remember calling my mom every single night. I don't have anything much to say to her, but I just want to hear her voice. I could see myself being brought back several years back to that very seat in class, getting scolded by my math teacher again for being stupid and hopeless. This was definitely one of the darkest moments of my life. It has been several years since that fateful day, and look where I am now. I'm sitting over here, talking to you guys, sharing with all of you about my past failures. Yes, I may have skipped a couple of details as to how I got out of that predicament, but this moment, right here, is the most important portion of the whole equation. Actually, the answer has appeared itself several times before in this video. Failure is a choice, not a life sentence. If my math teacher called me stupid and hopeless, and I agreed with her and didn't change a single thing because I believe her, I wouldn't have moved forward from that point and excelled post-primary school and gotten myself a scholarship. I wouldn't have become popular and I might still be that invisible scrawny kid that no one notices. Yes, I lost my opportunity to try to become a pilot, but I've built my foundation to be that resilient, hardworking guy that doesn't give up. Losing that opportunity felt like a massive failure to me, but at this current point in my life, it's just another critical event. Just like when my math teacher called me stupid, that will help bring me to where I'm meant to be. If I didn't get myself into the accident and broken my arm, sure, I could have the potential to become a pilot and travel the world, but that would mean losing everything that I've attained and experienced up till this point. The people I've met, the person that I've become, wouldn't have been possible if not for that. If life had been smooth sailing all the way, there's no opportunities for me to level myself up and become better than I was. I genuinely feel that failures are essential to help shape you to become a stronger person to take on life. If I've had a smooth sailing life and I'm met with a failure when I'm in my 40s, I doubt I will have the mental capabilities to handle it on top of all the responsibilities that I'll have by that age, such as taking care of my own family. That accident made me way stronger than I was before, and it taught me that there's always a silver lining to everything saying, I wouldn't have met my partner now if I've succeeded and became a pilot. Everything that has happened for a reason and brought you to where you are right now. Following that failure, obviously, it wasn't the last major failure that I've experienced. I've experienced many huge failures after, such as failing a business and losing tons of money due to my wrong decisions and inexperience. But look at where I am right now. I'm still here, alive and well. Life doesn't end the moment you fail. In fact, you will experience failure. No matter who you are, you will experience failures. That's just how life is. That's just a part of life. It will happen. Life isn't all about rainbows and sunshines. Failures are the part of life. It's actually also what makes life fulfilling. When you have overcame whatever failures that you have experienced, you become this whole new person with a whole new perspective that wouldn't have been possible if not for it. You have to sink this idea in. Failure is not a life sentence. You are not a failure. Failure is a choice. I know I've talked about failures like how it's an event. By definition, sure, failure is defined by the unsuccessful outcome of something, and sometimes it happens not by choice, like the accident that I've got myself into. What I meant when I say that failure is a choice is if you deem yourself as a failure that never amounts to anything and that you'll always remain as that invisible kid that means nothing to those around you, then realize this. That was a choice made by you. You made the choice to be a failure. But if you see failure as just another event that simply dare to serve as a learning lesson to help you grow as a person and just keep moving forward and learning from your mistakes, you will be able to see much more than just the light of the day.